is after him. That could be picked off by Colton Cruz at the 28. He's loose. He's going to go all the way. Touchdown, Tigers.
Get it on the jet sweep to the short side. Up the sideline. Sam McCaffrey. He is gone. Touchdown, Ottawa.
Wilder's going to catch it right at the 50. Looking for some room coming down here.
He's got room.
He's got a lot of room. Watch out. He's gone. He's gone, Coach. Wilder's going to take that 50 yards for a score. Bulldogs on the board.
Welcome back to the Black Swamp Football Podcast presented by the Gherkin Companies. Joined again by Neil Schuller to my left, Tory Strock to my right. I am Lynn Groll, ready for week number 10. Have some dandy matchups this week, boys, as far as conference championships go. And next week we'll be playing playoff games.
We're going to pick our regional champs next week. Is that kind of what we're looking at?
Yeah, we can do that. A
little forecasting on that. Yeah, some colossal Week 10 matchups. And I'm curious, I know we'll get to it probably, how many games separate us in the standings, because there's some marquee matchups this week.
Razor thin, Strock.
Ooh, is it?
It's razor thin this week. Can't have a hiccup this week. You're going to go down.
You know what they say, though? A rivalry isn't a rivalry if the same team wins all the time.
That's true.
So we need a little bit of this parity to keep people engaged. Otherwise, people are just going to tune out. So,
yep, no doubt. Hard to believe we're at week 10, isn't it?
It goes quick.
Yeah, it really does.
It goes quick, and you tell athletes, all the time as a coach, and parents tell their kids, listen, it goes fast, enjoy every moment. And the kids sometimes, I think they think, nah, I got a whole season ahead of me, and here they are now. And hopefully any young men listening don't have any regrets. But I used to tell my teammate Joe Crew, every time we'd take the field for pregame, I'd say, take a look around, soak it in. Seriously. And he'd kind of chuckle, and he'd take it in, look around. But I meant it. It goes fast. I'd give anything just to ride that yellow school bus one more time. Just one more time,
sure,
ride that school bus.
Happen.
I probably could.
I wonder if Eric Becker would let you ride the Tenora school bus this Friday night. Do you still have your Kick Me sign, because he wants to add his name to that?
You know what, Eric Becker, you know what it'd be like? The movie, the Tom Cruise movie, All the Right Moves, okay? Where he gets the pass interference call and Walnut Heights ends up scoring to win it. Another movie reference. And Coach Nickerson, Craig T. Nelson, doesn't let him on the bus. That would be me trying to get on Tenora's bus.
I think that's probably accurate, quite frankly.
I don't think Eric Becker's letting me on the Rambo
he might
bus.
Let you on there to harass you a little bit.
He might.
The LC folks might be able to haul you from like the school to Grandma's General Store.
They might not even do that.
Yeah, that's probably, distinguished alumni.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'll tell you a bus I could get on, though. PH Patriots would let me on their bus.
That's probably fair.
I'd be their mascot during the playoffs.
Well, you haven't given your picks yet, so maybe not.
No, theirs is easy this week, so I'm good there.
Well, we got to wait for the playoffs, though.
But that's true. But I do have some praise to heap on the Tenora Rams, though.
Do you?
I'm high on them, man.
Nice.
I'm high on them after Friday.
Well, we have to hand out our Gherkin Company's rock solid performance from week number 9.
I only have 3 teams written down.
Is Tenora one of those?
They
you have to look?
They are.
You don't remember who your 3 teams were?
No, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, I only have 3 teams. I think a lot of the games went according to kind of what was expected.
Release them.
Okay, all right. So my 3 teams, the Tenora Rambos, and they've been rock solid. They started out 0-3.
Won 6 in a row.
Won 6 in a row, or 7, depending, but 6 in a row. And they have just found a way. And you talk about having your back against the wall Friday night. It looked like Paulding maybe finally put them away. And they have a big hookup from their sophomore quarterback, and they end up finding a way again on the road. And Tenora has been rock solid down the stretch. In the face of that adversity after week 3, man, they were able to bounce back. The Tenora Rams were rock solid. The Bowling Green Bobcats, 6-3 on the year, and there's no other way to say it. They went to Buckenmeyer Stadium Friday night and bullied Napoleon to the tune of
rushing yardage.
Yep, and I even have that noted here. You don't just roll in and rush for almost 400 yards without being dominant. And Coach Sean Kiss and Bowling Green, they took Clay to the wire, lost 24-22 a few weeks ago. They were impressive. So Bowling Green Bobcats. And then the third team, how can you not mention the Toledo Christian Eagles? I know Holgate was maybe not playing with a full deck with some injuries and that, but boy, they continue to be dominant, and they were rock solid. So Bowling Green, Tenora, and Toledo Christian are my 3 nominees.
Okay.
Well, I had 2 of those, Tory, as well. Bowling Green, you mentioned. Victory there on the road at the Buck. That's not an easy environment to get that done, and they did. So hats off to Coach Kiss, J.C. Shannon, Jackson Schaefer, and company for getting that done, and just their season overall, as you mentioned, 6-3. Definitely playing for something last week. Hey, if Clay slips up, are we back in the conversation in that Cardinal division? Did what they had to do. Obviously, Clay did not slip up, but hats off to Bowling Green. Toledo Christian, you mentioned, absolute dismantling of Holgate. Regardless of what it is, that was 1 versus 1, A versus A, and the results speak for themselves. What about Oak Harbor? Big test with Eastwood, and got it done to extend
out of our coverage area, but
hats off to Oak Harbor for their toughest test and answering that. I had the Salina Bulldogs recover from a loss on OG, go on the road to Defiance, and get it done. And lastly, Pandora Gilboa's 34-14 win over a 1-loss Ada team.
Yeah, those are good, Neil. A couple that I didn't really think of, but absolutely. Ada Lipsick this week, big game there.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Who's your favorite? Do we have a pick?
I got it down between 2, Tenora and Bowling Green.
Okay.
Tenora and Bowling Green. What Tenora has overcome, and they had some adversity even last year, and I know this is a new year, but and then that week 3, man, that could cause a hangover for a couple weeks, that disappointment and heartbreak, and they've come back with a vengeance. I guess if I had to say, Tenora Rams.
I can't disagree with that. I mean, the body of work that they put together, particularly after that week 3 situation, let's just call it, hats off to them for their overall body of work. And, in my opinion, close runner-up with Bowling Green.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Seals it for me. They won a conference championship.
Oh, I like it. That makes it even better. That erases kind of any doubt.
Uncertainty or doubt.
Agreed.
Sonora was my front runner. I'm glad I didn't have to interject here this week. But
okay.
Yeah. Sonora Rams, congratulations. You want to go with Robbie Myers and I over to see Coach Becker, or would you rather take the night off?
I've got
something going on Thursday night?
Yeah, I do. I got.
Do you know what it is?
I got some things. Yeah, got some stuff that I got to do there.
Can I have your kick me sign? I'll have Coach Becker.
I think I still have it. I have it in my folder.
Should be hanging out.
I'll tell you what. I'll send it with you.
He can sign his name to that.
He can sign it, but hey, I'll own that. I thought Paulding would get it done.
They almost did.
They almost did.
Great game.
They almost did. And Tenora's impressive, Neil. They got a bunch of dudes that play huge roles. I mean, they're not huge. They got a couple big interior defensive linemen, but the rest are just kind of scrappers.
Yeah.
And they all kind of are built the same.
Yeah.
And
don't have many 200-pounders
no,
up front.
No.
Alex Holmeyer, who's
150, 160.
And
defensive end.
Bosselman kid that was here on
he's a load.
He's bigger.
Show. He's a load.
Bigger. Yep.
But that's about it.
The Radzik kid's bigger, but
those two.
Alex Schaublin's not very big.
Nope. Rep Logel, Del Arbor.
Yeah.
These are dudes that don't weigh 165, 170.
No.
They just fly around and hit you and catch and run.
I wasn't here for Rise and Rewind. What is the ceiling for Owen Farrell at quarterback? Just a sophomore. How good is he going to be?
I think the sky's the limit for Owen Farrell. I don't know what he's going to end up being size-wise. He's 135 pounds. 5'10", 5'11". I don't want to, but I know he's pretty light. Throwing mechanics as good as I've seen, like ever, like flawless. Just a pure thrower. In fact, when he throws it, he reminds me of Corey Griggs with just his natural throwing motion. Unbelievable feet. If you don't rush him under control and have gap integrity when you're rushing him and kind of fence him in, he'll sidestep you, he'll make you miss, so he's slippery. Moxie, oh my, his moxie is unbelievable. He'll take some chances, he'll take some chances because he believes in himself. Over the next 2 years, he'll be one of the best, if not the best quarterback in this area. I'll go out and I'll say that.
Well,
that's how impressed I was with him.
Yeah.
Nice.
Kid's special, man.
Yeah, he is, and kudos to the coaches for throwing him in there.
Yeah, in the buy-in.
Yeah.
Dominic Graziani.
Yeah.
Willing to accept his new role and a lot of coaches. Here's the thing, man. I give Eric Becker so much credit. A lot of coaches would have just rode with it because I don't know. Do we want to?
Don't want to upset the turnip truck.
You got it. And
we talk about this all the time. I mean, you dance with who brought you, right? And I mean, Tenora has what they have. They got the personnel they do. And hats off to Coach Eric Becker and crew for arranging those kids in such a manner. Number one, they can succeed. Number two, making a culture where the kids can buy in and play as a squad. I tell you what, if you get those two things humming the right direction, it will overshoot a lot of things, like size, like whatever else.
The other thing I'll say along those lines, and I have not talked to Dominic Graziani, I may be 180 degrees wrong here. But, in college, my sophomore year, I moved from quarterback to receiver, and I asked to do that. I had so much fun playing football as a receiver, punt returner, kick returner, did some of those things because it was like you could just go out and play. It was like going out in the yard and playing. So I'd be curious to ask Dominic Graziani, are you actually having more fun now being a receiver, carrying the ball, catching passes, playing DB? My suspicion would be he loves it, would be my suspicion, because it just takes so much of the mental part out. You can just go play. And then two, a guy like Graziani knows. So sometimes, like Graziani, there's a bunch of other things he could do, whereas Farrell maybe is more just a quarterback right now. By looking at him, he could probably play receiver too. But so how do we get our best 11 on the field? Well, I think Becker found a way to do it. And as you guys said, man, hats off to him.
The rest of the GMC's got a lot of catching up to do with the Pauldings, the Fairviews, and who am I missing? Tenora.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Very similar.
With the sophomores and the juniors that they have.
And the thing about Tenora, they have some key seniors. You look at their roster, sophomore. Oh my gosh, sophomore, junior, sophomore. They're going to be a problem. They have
some seniors, but
they do have some key seniors.
Yes.
But they've got enough youth sprinkled in there, getting valuable reps. Yeah. They're going to be a problem going forward. I agree, Lynn.
Is it safe to say that the GMC is kind of setting up, like we talk about the NWAL, for example, where you've got a handful of teams are kind of at the top, a few in the middle, and then some bottom dwellers, if you will. Is the GMC kind of setting up that way with those three teams you mentioned?
I think the top of the GMC is more competitive than what the NWAL is.
Agreed. I agree with that.
I don't know that there's a dominant Liberty Center in the GMC. I'll be honest. I don't think the GMC is maybe what it has been at times in the past.
No. I think
some of the powerhouses that they've had.
Yeah.
Tenoras and, that Kenny Krause had, and the teams that Fairview and Bob Olin had. The Airsville teams in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, they were giants.
And the recent ones with Chris Dales before he departed. And those teams they would light up the best of the best in the GMC right now.
Yes, they would.
I'm going to be honest.
No. I don't think anyone that's objective could argue that.
The GMC's down as a whole, as a conference right now.
And I think coaches would tell you that. I mean, I would hope they would, And but I think you've got in the coming couple years, Tenora and Fairview. Paulding, I don't know what they have to replace guys like Jack Woods, the linebacker, and I think
they lose a lot of the trenches.
They lose a lot in the
Their skills
trenches.
as good as anybody's.
Yes, Hunt's only a junior, I believe.
Yeah.
And then they've got a pair of the best sophomores in Northwest Ohio, the Manns brothers. I mean, they're good. So, yeah, they do, Lynn. That's a good way to put it. They've got some catching up to do.
Yeah, and then I don't know the rest of the GMC. I'm not sure that they have the pieces coming up that are going to get them back up into that type of program.
You know, Wayne Trace is a school.
They just can't get over that hump.
Can't get over that hump. Wayne Trace is one that seems to me that could put the pieces together most quickly.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not speaking from, I don't have insider knowledge. But it's fun. That was a dandy Friday.
Yeah, we've had some really good gamecasts this year.
Yeah, we have. Who was it that said you guys pick the right game every week? Scoop Miller. Yeah,
boy, it was a full house in that press box.
We were packed in there. But
thank you to Tyler Aaron.
Yes.
Oh, boy, he fit us in there.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Very thankful to the Paulding folks.
Neil Schuller, Game 1, Players of the Week. Yeah,
another dandy that I had with the Central Catholic St. Francis game last week, 7-7 at the end of the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter, a absolute knotted up ball game at the Glass Bowl, a rivalry that is renewed by all measures, and man, you could feel the electricity. It was a great atmosphere. For those of you who've been to University of Toledo, which most have to a game or whatever, there's the parking lot that's kind of right outside of the stadium there where the big rocket is. So I pulled into the side lot by the ROTC building at about 20 after 5, and there was not a spot to be had in that main lot at 20 after 5 for a 7 o'clock kickoff with the tailgate scene, people coming out to support. I was talking to Coach Josh Linke, and he was saying when the buses pulled up with the kids, it was just almost overwhelming the amount of support that they had there for that game on both sides. So tremendous game, and it was really exciting to watch. On the honorable mention front, offense, we'll start there. Honorable mention, Eli Beal from St. Francis. We mention his name, I think, almost every week. Yardage was harder to come by. He broke one loose there in the third quarter for, I believe it was 20 to 30 yards, but had a great night running the ball on a tough yardage night. Sophomore quarterback Ali Badoun for Central Catholic. Remember that name. He's coming up, steps in relief of Isaiah Fox, has 2 passing touchdowns, and really commanded that offense, especially in the fourth quarter. Did a tremendous job, but the Offensive Player of the Week presented by Game 1 for last week's game is going to be Tyler Morgan, the running back from Central Catholic. Absolute workhorse yardage that kid put together, grounded out and just kept pounding, had a very complete game, getting the ball finally moved. So Tyler Morgan, congratulations, Offensive Player of the Week. On the defensive side of the ball, obviously when you look at that score, nothing at the end of the first quarter, 7-0 at half, 7-7 into the third quarter. Defenses both shine. So I want to say hats off to both defenses for really stepping up and playing physical. Especially with two teams that want to and often do establish the run first. There was a lot of football played between the 30-yard lines last week. Honorable mention, Kevin Arnold, defensive back for Central Catholic, had a phenomenal game. Bo Thomas, a name we mentioned for St. Francis, also had a great game, crashing downhill. Both defensive lines played well. A guy who I thought stood out in the midst of that, Isaiah Seiler, defensive lineman for Central Catholic, had a tremendous night shutting down that run. He is our Defensive Player of the Week presented by Game 1 for Week 9.
Outstanding. How close is the gap between St. Francis and Central right now?
I would tell you that gap is closer than I think anybody thought that it probably was.
Was it closer than you expected?
Yes. Yeah. When I was...
Right, give us your percentage that that St. Francis would win that game last week?
Well, they had 2 turnovers in the fourth quarter. No question about that. That was an absolute deal breaker.
Can't sidestep the question now, Schuller.
Percentage that I thought that they would win going into the game.
Yes.
I gave them probably about a 10% chance.
That's more than some of the politicians do. He actually answered the question.
Yeah.
Very well done.
So I kept after him.
I know you did.
Yep.
I didn't let him slide.
Yeah, no. I gave them probably a 10% chance. And I remember there was a point kind of before Central took off on that scoring run the fourth quarter. I thought, my gosh, they're going toe-to-toe with Central Catholic through 3 quarters and a little bit. And that's impressive.
Now, were they just kind of were able to catch lightning in a bottle on one night, which is all you got to do? Or if they played them a few times, could they come that close again and again?
I think that they could, based on what I saw, based on the physicality, the belief, and the execution.
Wow.
On all 3 phases. And I really felt like going into that game, Central might have to stumble a little bit. St. Francis would have to play flawless football for this game to be close. I would tell you both had their share of, missteps, and both had their share of great moments. And it really came down to 2 teams that were incredibly physical and played the game plan and executed on it. So I think that game played 10 times. St. Francis is going to get 1 or 2 of them.
Wow.
They're close.
Gap
and they're
is
there.
closing, isn't it? Wow.
It is. And hats off. I think that, a St. Francis community that's tremendously proud and exuberating that right now, and rightly so, after what we've chronicled over the past couple seasons here. But it's one of those things where they have put Northwest Ohio, I think, on notice that St. Francis football is back. In Central, I don't want to discredit them. Hats off. I mean, share of adversity. Your starting quarterback goes down. Yeah. Young sophomore steps in a rivalry game that's tied in the third quarter in a pretty full glass bowl for a high school football game and gets it done. Finds a way to get it done. Hats off to them for doing that. They did what they had to do.
That was a neat showcase, too, for the city of Toledo, wouldn't you say?
No doubt. Absolutely. Yeah, it was great, and I think that everybody who came out for a good matchup was well entertained.
Yeah. Awesome.
That's not easy for St. John's now.
Very not easy. When you look at the 3 Catholic schools in Toledo, obviously a gap has formed here with St. John's this year. They're going to have an uphill climb. Not saying that they can't do it. They certainly have the same amount of community support, resources, and all of those tangible things, student athletes, etc., that the other 2 schools have. But with the position they're in right now, coming off of this season, we have to acknowledge that gap does exist.
Yeah. Yeah, be interesting to see where we go in 2025.
Yes, absolutely.
And what Josh Linke's building there on Bancroft. Boy,
it's special.
Quick turnaround.
Yep.
Yeah, not supposed to be that quick. That's impressive.
Yeah,
good for him.
Yeah, it is.
And it goes to show. I mean, I think it's a testament, and it's not just Josh Linke. I mean, I can safely say this. I know him well, and he won't care. But it shows if any program gets the right people and then support the system, and the kids buy in.
Support.
The sky is the limit, and that doesn't matter if you're a big private school in the city of Toledo or if you're a Division 7 school in the rural areas of our coverage. The right staff with the right support and the right system can do a lot of really good things.
Love it.
No doubt about it. Let's take a break. We'll come back and look ahead to week number 10 around the area, guys.
Who says a college degree is the only path to a fulfilling career? At the Gherkin Companies, we offer rewarding livelihoods with or without a degree. Gherkin provides a generous benefits package, continuous training, top-notch equipment, and a culture that rewards effort. We're looking for rock-solid performers to help build and reinforce the region's infrastructure. Whether you have construction experience or are just starting your career, apply now at gherkincompanies.com/careers.
You to the Gherkin Companies for sponsoring our Black Swamp Football podcast this season. Looking ahead to week number 10 here, standings. Picked up a couple on Strock last week. Went 30-3, so did Neil Schuller. Braden went 30-4, and Tory was 28-5. So Tory now 258 and 46. I'm one back. 257 and 47. Braden just 3 back. So we can't count out Braden just quite yet. He's 260 and 54. 3 games back. Neil Schuller 7.5 back. So we could get crazy here if we miss a bunch of games and
there's some tough
make
ones.
up the ground.
There's some tough ones. I think we'll have some dissension on a couple. I really do.
I'm going to add one for you guys. There's a big one down south of here on Friday night. Marion Local at Coldwater. If you have not heard, the Flyers won their 57th straight last week against Minster. Tied Delphus St. John's from November 11th, 1996 to November 24th of 2000. Do you know the team that stopped that streak?
Delphus St. John's?
Yes, who stopped the Flyers streak?
Versailles.
Or I'm sorry, the Blue Jays.
Yeah.
Blue Jays streak back then.
When did it end? What year?
November 24th of 2000 in the D6 state championship.
2000. Mogador.
No. You're making this way too hard. Getting too far away.
Marion Local?
Marion Local. In the D6 state championship. Yeah. So the Flyers have won 57 straight. They go to Coldwater. They get a victory. They'll have the longest streak. Little tidbit for you guys a week ago. Remember who coached at Delphus St. John's back then?
Todd Schulte?
No. Vic Whiting. His son coaches at Minster, who they tied for that winning streak a week ago. Did the Flyers.
Vic Whiting, yeah.
Yep. Seth Whiting is now the coach at Minster.
Interesting.
These are good backs, Lynn.
Interesting. Yeah, I know who I'm picking in that one.
Who are you picking?
Marion Local.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd take Marion Local also.
All right, I'll take Marion Local too. Think they're going to get the streak, huh?
Yeah, but Coldwater's on a mission. Coldwater's on a mission. That game's at Coldwater, you said?
Coldwater. What will the 50-50 be?
Oh, man.
Will it be $20K?
The winner's take?
Yeah. Will it be $20K? Now, they sell the 50-50s throughout the week.
throughout the week. I think the winner will take 14 to 16,000 home.
Okay.
If I had to guess.
Yeah, I would. It's going to be big. There's no doubt about that.
My good friend Tim Hograve's going down for that one.
Timmy.
Played fullback on the Archibald 88 state championship team. Told him to buy me a ticket, and if we win it, I'll split it with him. I may give you guys a little bit of that.
All right. We're all taking Marion Local. Can they come within 10 points?
No. I think it'll be about 21.
Okay. I mean, 35-14?
I don't know that Coldwater can score 14.
I think they put up 40.
28-7?
I would say 28-7. Somewhere in there.
Let's see what they say on here. That's a game I did not look up.
Be curious what Cal Prep says on that one.
Yeah, I am too. There's Coldwater. And let's see here. Marion Local, Maria Stein.
I'm going to say it's 28-7.
Okay, I was going to say 28-10. Okay, Marion Local on a neutral field, which we know this is at Coldwater, 35-22.
Oh, 22, huh?
35-22 on a neutral field in the playoffs, 35-21. Like that really matters there, but that's a lot of points on the Marion Local defense.
How many points has Marion Local given up all year?
Oh, have they given up 21?
Gave up 6 to Linton, Stockton, Indiana. They gave up 9 to St. Henry.
15.
They gave up 7 to New Bremen. The rest of the teams they've shut out.
22.
Well, and Drew Pasteur has Marion Local by 14.
Okay. So 435-13. Cal Prep's 13, so they're close.
Yep.
I think they used a lot of the same metrics if you look at.
I think they do. Yep.
Coldwater scored in the 50s on 3 occasions. Beat Versailles 52-14 last week. Versailles lost to Marion Local 48-0. So similar
Are there two
point differentials.
Are there two teams or two programs that know each other better?
Probably not.
I mean, few, if any, right?
Few.
Man. Coldwater's had a nice year. They've had who's come the closest to Coldwater?
Munster 24-21.
Ooh.
And Marion Local beat them 21-zip. Also kind of struggled with Anna 34-18. Marion Local beat Anna 42-zilch.
Coldwater's going to need a turnover or a big special teams play, aren't they?
Yeah, they're going to need a little something in the air, the home air, that is.
Yeah,
for sure.
It'll be a dandy.
Going to be a packed house, that's for sure.
Yeah, Marion Local's given up what? 22 points all year?
22, yeah.
That's impressive.
That's pretty good.
That is impressive.
In that league?
In that league.
Marion Local people tell you this is their best team ever.
That's unbelievable, because I saw them last year against PH in the regional final, and you watch, especially as a coach, and that you watch that game and you're going, okay, if I'm coaching, where might they have a weakness? Where's maybe a chink in their armor? Who could we go after on defense? Maybe what? There is none. There is none. And this goes back, we've talked about it many times. You don't look at their guys on the field and go, oh my gosh, look at these guys. Just a bunch of normal dudes, bunch of normal young high school kids, but they're not normal the way they play.
Why is that? Do you have any insight on why they're so good?
To me, it starts with families. It starts with the values and the way those kids are raised. I think that's where it starts. And then the coaches, I mean, I think you got to start with relationships. That's got to be the foundation of everything. You got to earn the trust of the players. It's not guaranteed anymore like it used to be. Hey, this guy's your coach. You will respect him. No, you got to earn it now. I think the coaches do that. But above and beyond anything else, I think it's the families. I really do. The family values, the family structure. They aren't into a lot of the things the rest of the world's into these days. They stuck to their roots. They've raised their kids that way.
You don't see a lot of social media posting by those
No, you don't.
teams like Marion Local.
No, you don't.
Maybe weightlifting. That's about it.
That's about it. They keep the main thing, don't they? They don't have time to chronicle, every time a kid.
You think there's a dad that's going to complain to Tim Goodwin?
You got it, buddy. And you know what the best part is? You know what the best part is? If there was a dad that wanted to complain to Tim Goodwin, the other dads would shut him down. It wouldn't get that far.
It'd be like the movie Hoosiers.
Yeah, it would. Correct. Yes, it would.
When not Scrappy, what was the kid's name?
Mr. Butcher.
Yeah.
Mr. Butcher tells him this man's got a job to do.
Yeah.
Yep. But that's how it is.
That's how it is in Marion Local.
Yeah, and in some other communities, they pile on, right?
Yeah.
Well, I agree with you. Let's go give them a piece of our mind. No. And if you have an outsider that comes in and maybe tries to do that, the locals will say, that's not how we conduct business around here, pal. And
the police themselves.
You got it. They police themselves. And
that crap didn't happen around these parts.
Nope.
30, 40 years ago either.
You got it.
It does now, though.
It infiltrates our schools and communities, but not everywhere. Not everywhere.
No, not everywhere is right.
Are you strong enough to stand? Are you strong enough to stand up, have the courage of your convictions, and stand up against the machine that's trying to change all of these things throughout our country? And by golly, there's some small towns that are, and I salute them.
I have to ask Rex Lindgren that question on our football show.
We got to tread lightly, because it's like what you put in, you get out. We got to be careful how we put it in.
Yeah.
That'll determine what we get out. Because Rex's filter, he's never had a filter. He has less of a filter now.
He knows he has to have a filter on my show, though.
I don't know that he has one.
Yeah, he'll just have you edit it.
Yeah, he will.
Yeah.
I'm not editing it.
Okay.
People just have to listen to it.
Well, here's the thing.
Have to deal with
Do you
it.
want raw truth or not?
Yeah. There you go.
Some of my favorite shows and things to listen to is the unadulterated truth. So,
yeah, you need a superintendent and AD that's going to also back the coach.
You got it.
A lot of those schools, you know better than to go stomping into the school.
You got it.
Some of these ADs,
Well, and here's the thing. You look at programs that we talk about that are having success, there's a common thread with it, and it's not a secret.
No.
It's community support and exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But why are we so, as a society, so hesitant to embrace what the MAC does? Why? Can the parents not get out of the way? Why is that?
That's part of it.
I think people have their own agendas that differ from other things. Unfortunately, it's the society we live in, right? Where, hey, I've got an opinion on this, and that should matter.
Yeah. I could go way down this rabbit hole because I've got a lot of experiences and things I've dealt with. I'll hold back on some of it, but in a few years, I'll be happy to let it rip, but not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
It's great, Lynn, you asked the most valid question.
Do we care more about our kids' stats as opposed to the school and the program preparing your son for life after football?
Yeah.
Or are you just worried about his stats?
Well, unfortunately, I think in a social media driven world, and I'll throw on the ideology of the transfer portal, and if things aren't going quite right, then I just pick up and move down the road till they suit my liking. I think that is where a lot of people get, and I see the thing, and I don't want to get on a soapbox and off this deep end too far, but the thing that always impresses me is when you see kids in programs that are just not winning football games, and they're, hey, look what I did this last week. Look at me. Hey, I'm headed over here for a college visit. This, that, the next thing. Well, doggone it, how you get attention by playing as many football games as you possibly can. You know how you do that? You get together with your teammates, you make a pact, and you make a deep run in the playoffs where there are a lot more eyes on you and more stats to be had. But it comes to winning ball games, which happens as a team in this sport, not as an individual.
And a great coach was asked years ago, have kids changed? And that's a question we've asked coaches, and the coach's answer was, no. Kids haven't changed. Our expectations of them have changed. And any coach will tell you there are still those throwback kids out there. There are.
Absolutely.
They're there. And
kids don't know how to change.
No, they are what they are. And it's
I've had this conversation with Tom Held, the great Defiance baseball skipper, and he'll always say, kids don't know how to change.
No.
They just want to be kids.
Yeah, we set the bar for them, and we've lowered it so much with our expectations and things we tolerate that it's created a quagmire out there. And again, there's still some places where it hasn't infiltrated.
Yeah, select few.
Yeah.
No doubt about that. All right, let's get on with our picks this week. This is unscripted, folks.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's always unscripted.
Yeah, I didn't know we were going to go there, but it's valid, and there's a lot of people that'll listen and say, yep, and you can disagree. That's fine. Won't be the first time.
You can't argue with all the state championships they've won down in the MAC.
No.
And you can take any other sport that you want.
Yep. Good luck trying to argue it.
Yeah.
Yep.
The proof is right there.
It speaks for itself.
Yes, it does.
Go ahead and argue with me.
Yeah.
Right.
Just go down to the MAC and tell them that that's not working down there. I'd love for you to do that. I mean, come on. All right. TAC action this week. Going to start there. Montpelier at Hilltop. Two teams projected to be out of the playoffs, so just trying to finish the season on a strong note are these two Williams County programs. I like the Locos to get a win in this one.
Yep. Coach Andy Robinson, they're going to finish it off on a high note. I like him to go on the road and get it done. The Montpelier Locomotives. I know not the season they had hoped for in that, but he's still building. He's still building that thing.
Yeah, and real quick before we get too far going, we talked about all the teams with playoffs, and it's going to be exciting matching all that stuff up. There's also a lot of teams that this coming week is the end of the road, and it's not for lack of effort, lack of talent, lack of time and effort spent by those guys. So as you're winding up seasons for those guys out there, we talked about embracing every moment. Embrace this entire week.
Yeah,
and that's okay.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
That said, I too am taking the Locos in this one. I think that they go on the road and get it done, and end the season on a high note as their rebuild continues.
I liked a good comment that Tim Bowers had on Rise and Rewind on Saturday. Don't print those dang playoff shirts unless you're a top 8 seed.
Yeah.
Is that the cutoff? If you're 9 to 16, maybe win a couple, and then you can print them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at some of these regions today, and teams that are 2-7, 3-6 on the bubble. I mean, I was for expansion for certain cases, depending on the league you played in and different things, but almost like with a minimum number of wins. You know what I mean?
Should be like a qualifier.
Well, yeah, if you're a 6-4 team and you play in a league with just a MAC type league, okay, or a WBL. I mean, you're going
to see one of those lower tier MAC teams make a run.
Oh, you know you will. Mm-hmm. You know you will. There'll be a 5-5 MAC team knock off a 10-0 somebody.
No doubt.
And so, it's just depending on the region, it's crazy. Yeah, that's all I'll say.
Yeah.
But yeah, Timmy, the great thing about Tim Bowers,
he has no filter.
He doesn't, and he's smart, which makes him dangerous. He's an intelligent guy, and he tells it like it is. He'll say the quiet part out loud, as they say nowadays. Yeah. And he's right, though.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. Big one in the Village. I feel like we're getting this one way too soon here in this show, but
it's going to set the tone.
Winner take all again for the third straight year. Eden at Ottawa Hills. Both teams good about the playoffs. Eden with a win probably would get 2 home playoff games. Ottawa Hills is projected to win this by Drew Pastors.
I can kick this off. We go back to week 1 and we were all like, oh my gosh, Ottawa Hills gets knocked off by Gibsonburg, and what does that mean? And did we miss something here? Well, no, we did not. It happened, and ever since then, Coach Brandon Carter has just got his squad on track and winning ball games. To the same vein as Eden, they come in unblemished on the season, and you got to respect that bomber ball that we've talked about. That said, in this matchup, a classic tack battle, but give me the Green Bears at home this week, with home field being the X factor. I like Ottawa Hills to repeat as tack champs.
Didn't Ottawa Hills roll into Eden last year and just put it on them?
Yeah, I think that was pretty lopsided.
Yeah, it was like 50. It was crazy, like 56-14 or something crazy. It was beaten. And 2 years ago,
54-7.
54-7.
At Leanne Field.
Correct. At Leanne Field. And then 2 years ago, a game we did.
Yeah.
It was closer.
Yep.
And
in the Village.
Yeah, in the Village. Mm-hmm. And Ottawa Hills won that one, I believe, as well.
Yep, they won the last 2.
What was 2 years ago?
2 years ago was 24-20.
Okay. All right. So
you've been touting bomber ball all year.
Yeah.
You've been touting the Village all year.
Yeah. Something's got to give. So what I was going to do tonight, you know what I was going to do? And I went with the BG Falcon sweatshirt. I went with the BG Falcon.
You don't have your.
I went with the BG Falcon sweatshirt. It's Bowling Green Toledo week, and so I defaulted to my Falcons gear, but I was going to wear my bomber ball shirt and my next one, best one, Coach Carter bracelet. I was gonna wear those two, and then I was gonna bring each of them, and then whatever team I picked, either put the shirt or the bracelet. But I didn't want that. I don't want that pageantry, that fanfare. But I do have my pick. It's in. It's sealed. It's highlighted. And I ain't changing. What was that last year? 54-7.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points to make up, especially on the road.
47 for you Liberty Center graduates.
Yeah, I wouldn't have figured that.
A whole lot of points.
That's a whole lot of points to make up. But bomber ball is a different animal. They play defense along with that high-flying offense. I'm going to tell you something. If you roll into the Village and think you're just going to outscore them and don't have to play defense like you did against Whiteford, you're going to get what you deserve. I'm going to say that. But if bomber ball means what I think it means, they're going to roll into the Village and take what's theirs. Eden gets it done in the Village. Mark it down.
I thought I was going to get one on you right here. I figured you would take the Green Bears. But I'm taking the Bombers too.
Are you?
Bomber ball lives.
Bomber ball lives. I'm going to tell you something else.
Ever since you put that out there, boy, it's taken off.
Can feel it. Can feel
I
it.
can feel it all the way over here in Henry County from Williams County.
I know.
Just feel that surge.
It's a fever. It's a fever you catch.
They're going to be waiting for him in the village.
Yeah, there's no medicine.
Well, they better be ready for it.
They'll be ready.
They better be ready, because Kyler Sapp, buddy.
They'll be ready.
He'll carve you up like that brisket Rob Jackson's carving up for the PH football team. But I'm going to tell you, though, I'm going to say it again. They got to bring their defense to make it truly Bomber ball. That's what makes Bomber ball, not just scoring 50 and losing 58-50.
Well, is Coach Holman going to run the ball?
Well, I'm going to tell you this. If they don't bring their defense, the Pillarelli boys are going to run all over them. Not that they're not going to anyhow.
Oh, I know that.
How many is Rocco going to run for, Schuller?
Depends. Are they going to play true Bomber ball? If they...
Rocco's got over 100 easy.
How many do you think Rocco's going to get?
I think Rocco hits the century mark.
He does? You
I
think
do.
they're still going to lose?
I think he's going to carry the bunch. And I'm going to tell you which Bomber's going to really shine in that game. It's going to be Cohen Holbert. He's going to have a big night on both sides of the ball. You watch. He was embarrassed last year when Ottawa Hills rolled in there and pushed him around on their home field. He ain't going to stand for it this year. Kyler Sapp's going to have a big night. Bombers will roll.
What's your score prediction?
Ooh, I was hoping you wouldn't ask that.
2 scores?
34-20.
Okay.
34-20.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess that'd be 2 scores.
I like the Bombers, too, in that one.
Okay.
Schuller's going to take Ottawa Hills.
Yes, sir.
Could pick up another one, Schuller.
I'm
Yeah,
headed
he
that
could.
way.
Base 6.5 back.
We're off the dock now, baby.
Here we go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Northern 8. Got a couple weeks here left in their season. State championship for the 8-man game is going to be at Fremont's Don Paul Stadium on Saturday, November 16th, 7 p.m. Toledo Christian knocked off one unbeaten a week ago in Holgate. This week, they get Sandusky St. Mary's Central Catholic, who is 7-0 and 5-0 in the league, as is Toledo Christian. Holgate 6-1, 4-1. Chalker 3-3 overall, 3-2 in the Northern 8. Danbury is 2-3 in the league, and then Fremont St. Joe is also 2-3. Sebring McKinley and Stryker both 0-6 in conference games. You like the site for this year's state championship at Fremont?
Personally, no. I think it's a great stadium. Don Paul Stadium. I've coached in it. I've watched games in it. It is an awesome venue. But I think if you want to spread the news about the Northern 8 and 8-man football, you want to have it in an environment where I think it's going to bring people from the surrounding area. I just don't know that you're going to get that by playing it in Fremont. I thought the site here last year at Liberty Center was just ideal, and the crowd size, I think, supports that. So, great stadium. Love Don Paul Stadium. I'd rather see it back here at Liberty Center, but that's only one man's opinion.
No, I agree with that, too.
Well, I think as the league has now reached to the eastern part of the state of Ohio, are there more teams out that way with, some growing interest around it? While it's not a huge distance, it's a distance closer to them, right? And if you're going to pick a venue that's going to try to be partway in between, Don Paul Stadium is as good as any of them. Agree with you, Tory, one of my favorite places in Northwest Ohio. Love that stadium. Is it going to be a little bit oversized for this game? Perhaps. But
it definitely will be oversized.
Yep, but if you're trying to grow the brand and get more people and get people from a further reach out, it's a little bit more centrally located, so I'll give it that.
Well, I would say if you want the Eastern teams, you want the state championship closer to you, you better start playing some better football.
Don't disagree.
Simple as that. If you were at Liberty Center last year and saw that environment, I have no idea why you're changing the site of that game.
It was a great environment.
2,500, 3,000 people here.
Yep.
And it's going to be probably, it may be Sandusky St. Mary. It's going to be Toledo Christian.
Yeah.
But it'll be the Panthers or Holgate opposing them. Just my thought, but I'd rather see it at Liberty Center.
I like it. I agree.
But whatever. Stryker is at Waldron on Friday night. Going to start there in the Northern 8 this week.
Striker, struggling, going to continue. They were 0-6, you said, Lynn. Going to be 0-7 after this one. Give me Waldron.
Yep, I too.
Well, that was their league record. They do have 1 overall.
Okay.
They're 1-7 overall.
Well, 1-8.
Okay.
Give me Waldron.
I agree, Neil. I'm going with Waldron in this one.
Take Waldron as well. On Saturday, Toledo Christian is at Sandusky St. Mary Central Catholic. Evan Ryan, Jason O'Neill, 5.5 sacks each. O'Neill has 25 tackles for loss. Ryan has 15. Tyler Grace up to 1,456 yards passing, 24 touchdowns, just 63 completions for that total. Carter Kester, 751 yards receiving, 13 touchdowns. And Josiah Hillrich, 481 yards and 8 TDs. It's Toledo Christian and everybody else right now in the Northern 8. Do the Panthers have a chance to keep this one at least competitive?
Well, the Panthers, I think, will make it competitive, but that said, they fall into that everybody else category. Toledo Christian has absolutely rolled and dismantled everybody who's been on their schedule. It continues this week. I would love to see the Toledo Christian starters, what they could do playing an entire game, which they have yet to do this season. But give me Toledo Christian in this one.
Well, you just double their stats, pretty much.
In theory.
Yeah, I too can't pick against Toledo Christian, although tons and tons and tons of tradition there at Sandusky St. Mary. Don't know what the 2024 version looks like in 8-man, but can't pick against Toledo Christian.
Yeah, give me TC too. I think they continue to roll in the 8-man game this week. Holgate is at Chalker. That one also on Saturday. Holgate, don't know their injury situation and everything that's going on there. They were playing with not a lot of their starters a week ago against Toledo Christian. Don't know what they're taking on the road to Chalker on Saturday.
Well, they're going to take enough on the road at Chalker, and I think, having a slice of humble pie is going to do one of two things. They're either going to build off of that and get back to business as usual in the first part of the season, or is this a turning point, a breaking point? I think that they will take that loss last week, build upon it, get back to business. Give me Holgate.
I'm not sure if Holgate doesn't get upset. Long bus ride. I don't know where their mentality is right now, mentally. I wouldn't be surprised that they take a loss here on the road, but I think they do squeak one out. But I think it's going to be closer than what everybody thinks.
Pretty much where I'm indecisive here is where are they at health-wise, and so on and so forth.
Some other factors going on there as well.
Yeah.
We'll get into it, but...
Yep. I guess you got to look at Holgate's overall record. It's hard to pick against them, but if they're shorthanded again like they were last week, I agree, Lynn. This could be a tight one, or they could get knocked off. But Colton Wagner understands that 8-man game about as well as anybody, maybe better than most, and I think he's going to put enough pieces together to get it done.
Won't be coaching why they would lose. I would say that.
Yeah, I would say that too. I would agree with that.
I think this that's a long bus ride over there to Northeast Ohio.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be an easy one.
I don't think it'll be easy either. I too am going with Holgate,
Yeah,
but
I got them too. Yep.
I guess maybe going with my heart there more than anything else because I want the Tigers.
But tighter. Let's take a break, come back, and talk about the Western Buckeye League. The Swanton Welding Company proudly supports our local student athletes and coaches. We're committed to being your local steel fabrication company in Northwest Ohio and building projects across the country. For job opportunities at the Swanton Welding Company, visit www.swantonweld.com or visit them at 407 Zider Way in Swanton. Thank you to the Swanton Welding Company for their continued support. Tune into Friday's broadcast for our Swanton Welding Ironman of the game. Not going to release where we're going to be quite yet, but we will hear later on the podcast where Tory and I will have our call on Friday night. Western Buckeye League, Kenton is at Shawnee, a couple teams that are just trying to get a victory here to end the season. Corbin Johnson, the quarterback for Kenton, he needs 299 yards on Friday night to reach the 3,000 plateau. I think he's going to get it, and I think Kenton gets the win in this matchup.
Yeah, I've got Kenton highlighted as well. Boy, talk about close but no cigar. Boy, the Kenton Wildcats have been right there. They played some good football, just hasn't shown up in the win column. But I think they go on the road and
you
get
got
it
to play
done.
better defense.
Yeah, you got to play better defense. I like Kenton.
Well, and I agree. You look at the games that they have lost have been razor thin, and those are heartbreaking moments. However, they got to get it done at Shawnee this week, and they're not going to. Give me Shawnee.
Oh, I think Shawnee's going to break the streak here.
I believe that.
No, Schuller, picks like that are why you dug yourself a hole.
You're going to give him a second opportunity?
I'm going to let you walk it back and do the right thing.
Shawnee, I got to make up 7 games. It's going to take some chances.
Okay, with that rationale, I can live with it.
And that's where I'm going.
Okay, I respect it.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Ottawa Glandorf at Defiance, two teams that look like they will have a home playoff game next week. OG projection to be 8th in Region 14 and Defiance 7 in Region 10.
Yep, as you mentioned, Lynn, both have clinched a playoff slot. Defiance a little bit higher. This is a case where Ottawa Glandorf, in my opinion, has a little bit more to play for with positioning in their playoff bracket than maybe Defiance does. Two teams I think that are pretty even coming into this one. Is there a case where it's like, okay, we got the playoffs won, locked, I should say, and where does that leave us? But for Ottawa Glandorf, I think positioning is something to play for, and I'm going to take the Titans in this one.
Anthony Wilder, one of 3 players in the Western Buckeye League with 1,000 yards rushing this season for Defiance. Brez Zippel needs 1 yard for 1,000 passing, but the Titans are only allowing 259 yards, and Defiance has only scored 6 points the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, OG with a win has a chance to host, and I didn't think I'd be doing this a couple weeks ago, but even at home, but Defiance has sputtered, man, and I can't believe I'm going to do it, but I'm going with OG on the road at Defiance because I got to go with my head here, not my heart, and what I think could happen. I got to look at what has happened the last couple weeks, and Ottawa Glandorf's body of work the last couple weeks has simply been much better. OG.
Defense travels. Defiance scuffling. I like the Titans too.
Do you?
They're going to get it done. Yeah, I don't think I would have said this a month ago.
No,
I don't think anybody, none of us would have.
I don't know what's going on in Defiance, but boy, it went off the rails quickly.
Well, and
for the Bulldogs.
on the same note, OG has got momentum, right? They're feeling good about things, starting to roll, playoffs locked in, a lot of good momentum, and that carries well on the school bus.
Momentum with high school kids. Woo-hoo.
Yeah, no doubt about it. St. Mary's is at Bath. St. Mary's looks like they will be home in Region 12 for a home playoff game. Bath projected to be around the 10 area in Region 20 in Division 5. Dominic Osmore needs 11 yards for 1,000 for the Rough Riders in this one.
Yep, I'm going to go with St. Mary's on the road here. I think that they're just going to be a little bit too much for Bath, and stay healthy, get ready for the playoffs, but St. Mary's.
We know Bath is capable of surprising almost anybody, but I'm with you, Neil. You pack that running game, you always have a chance, in my opinion. I like St. Mary's to ground out a victory here.
I like Bo Fry and his crew in that matchup as well. Walpock already got the WBL wrapped up. They are projected to be second in Region 12. They are at Salina. How about these numbers for Caleb Moyer this season? The Walpock quarterback, 135 of 168, 2,012 yards, 16 touchdowns, no interceptions.
That's impressive.
No interceptions.
No interceptions. Caden Page, his number 1 target, 70 grabs. He needs 49 yards to reach 1,000 for the season. He also has 7 touchdowns. I'm taking Walpock.
Yeah.
You two, I don't know what you're...
I'm going with Walpock. But I'm telling you, that's a rivalry there. And Salina's going to have them buckled up, and they're going to give Walpock all they want in that game. They just haven't been as consistent enough to maybe pull the upset, but they're going to give themselves a chance. They're going to need a turnover or two, but I'm not picking against Walpock.
Walpock's going to roll them.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Tory. I mean, consistency matters here on both. Salina been a little bit too inconsistent. Walpock been nothing but consistent, and they're going to get it done to finish out the season unblemished.
28 points plus.
No way.
Redskins.
Nope.
Going to roll.
Ain't going to be that big, son. I'm going to tell you right now. Remember, what's the county seat of Mercer County?
Here we go with that report.
You're rolling into the county seat. It ain't going to be easy. I'm just going to tell you. We'll see what Cal Prep says. What'd you say, Lynn? A few scores? I
say 28 plus, 4 scores.
Oh, you're on something. It ain't going to be that. Let's see what they say. 31-10.
So 21. Drew Pastor says Walpock winning by 25.
31-10. I could see something like 28-14.
It's like 42-7, 14. That's what I think. We'll see.
We'll see.
That's why we play them.
Yeah. We've got receipts here. We've got receipts, so we'll see.
Rounding out the WBL this week, Elida at Van Wert. Looks like Van Wert will get into the Region 14 playoffs. Elida will need a victory and some help to get in Region 14 there.
Well, they're not going to get any help this week. Van Wert Cougars are going to win this ball game.
Yeah, I like Van Wert too.
I too like Van Wert, and that isn't a team you're going to want to see. But
are they going to play defense?
If they get in. Well,
they're going to play offense.
Yeah, they are going to play offense, that's for sure.
Right.
But I'll tell you, here's the thing about Region 14. Division 4, Region 14. Other than the first three, Perkins, Shelby, and Clyde, currently the first three, it's wide open. Like Lorraine Clearview sitting in the 4 spot right now, there are 8 teams below them that could beat them. That's the thing. I love the Harbin system, always have, but it is so, like, if Ottawa Glandorf went to Lorraine Clearview tomorrow night, they'd smack them. They would. Mm-hmm. Ottawa Glandorf would bully them. And, here OG sits, because they're in the WBL, OG sits here at number 10. Now, with a win, they could host, but Clearview sits at number 4. OG would smack them. I'm just telling you, they would.
That said, you look at that region, and, the 2 teams you mentioned at the top there, Perkins and Shelby, dangerous teams that could make a deep run in Division 4.
Yeah, and I'll tell you who else will be a handful there is the team sitting at 5 right now, Clyde, because, Clyde, you look at, they've lost Perkins and St. Francis, and then they have a third one, Sandusky knocked them off too. So that's interesting. That's real top heavy. That region is real top heavy with Perkins, Shelby, and then Ontario's got a heck of a quarterback from what I've read. Just following Brayton Martin's stuff, Ontario's got a dandy quarterback.
Shelby does, I know.
Shelby did. Well, yeah, those two do. Those two. Mm-hmm. Those two. They went head to head, right? Shelby beat them. Mm-hmm. Pretty recent.
That was last week. Shelby won 50-36.
Okay.
Wow.
Did some points there.
Yeah.
Over under was what, 70? You better have taken the over, huh?
Yeah, no doubt about it. Let's take a break. We're going to come back and talk about the NBC after these messages. Ready to hit the links? Grab your clubs and head to White Pines Golf Course at 1640 County Road 2 in Swanton. For a tee time or to sign up for their events, call 419-875-5535 or visit whitepinesgc.com. Also, sign up for their early membership of $885 or $796.50 for seniors 55 and older. Early membership is play now, and greens fees are covered for the rest of 2024 and all of 2025. When you play White Pines Golf Course, the experience will exceed your expectations. Welcome back to the Black Swamp Football Podcast presented by the Gherkin Companies. NBC this week. Going to start with Oak Harbor. Big win a week ago over Eastwood. They are at Lake. Any chance for the Flyers to pull a massive, massive upset in this one?
Nope, there is not. Oak Harbor comes in and rolls.
Lake's only chance is if the Oak Harbor bus breaks down and they don't make it there. But Oak Harbor, I'll tell you, I bet they have some bumps and bruises to show for last week.
There's zero doubt.
Sure.
Eastwood took them to the wire, man, and nothing but respect for what Eastwood did there. We'll get to them in a minute, but I like Oak Harbor on the road for sure.
I like the Rockets as well, projected to be the 3 seed in Region 18. If you look at that region, we'll get into Liberty Center, who's also in that region here later on. But if you're that 2-3, you're probably going to you're going to play each other in the regional semis, and then you're going to have to play probably Milan Edison in the final.
It's a gauntlet. That region, man. You look at Edison, Liberty Center, Oak Harbor, Liberty Benton, Eastwood.
Yeah.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, I just personally, I don't know that you want to have to face a Milan Edison team after you go toe to toe with a Oak Harbor or Liberty Center, if that's how that region plays out.
Agree.
That's a 2-game gauntlet.
Yes, it is.
Pretty tough.
Yes, it is.
Well, we'll see. We'll talk about that on our Saturday morning show, Rise and Rewind, on Saturday morning, 8 a.m.
It'd be like playing in the MAC if you had to do that, right?
Yeah.
Every week. 8 a.m. Let's go 8 a.m.
Okay.
I got to head to the Glass Bowl. Got to believe there'll be a heck of a crowd there.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
So,
Seago is at Maumee. Panthers looks like they are going to host a playoff game next week at Kazmaier Stadium. Good for Evan Karcher and his crew there. Any problems with the Knights here in Week 10?
This is a game that I think is going to be closer than maybe people think, especially looking at Otsego just winning 7-0 last week. But there's some bad blood between these two programs, and I think this is going to be one where Otsego rolls in there.
Try to pick up another game here. He's leaning toward.
Otsego rolls in there with bad intentions. That said, you cannot overlook what's happening at Maumee. They're at home. They're hosting a home playoff game at Kazmaier Stadium for the first time in I don't know how long. The Maumee Panthers get it done over Otsego this week. But it ain't going to be easy.
You got to pick up
this is going to be tough.
You got to pick up 6.5 here yet, Schuller. Are you sure you don't want to?
That would be one you could.
Page.
That would be one to take a chance on if you were looking to get a game. I'm not saying you should because I like your pick, but that would be one to take a chance on. Here's Neil, in a similar vein, what you said. Otsego, if they can get 3.5-4 yards of crack and keep that ball away from the Maumee offense, when you see this halftime score, it might get your attention.
I think it could.
It could. If Maumee's stout up front and can force Otsego behind the chains, I expect Maumee to win this game. Maumee's my pick, but don't be one bit surprised if this game's 7-7 at halftime or something crazy like that.
Okay.
I think it could be within a score at the final.
I do too.
I'll take Maumee in this one. That's going to be my pick. I like what Schuller said. I think this one's going to be closer than maybe what some people think.
I do too.
Yeah. Genoa is at Eastwood. Eagles trying to pick up the pieces from that great game a week ago at Oak Harbor. Boy, oh boy, was that a dandy matchup.
Well, and I think it's a game that lived up to the expectations that we had for it, right? I don't think that anybody thought that was going to be anything less than what it was. Eastwood will rebound this week. Got Genoa coming into their place. Give me the Eastwood Eagles in this one.
Eastwood projected to be the 5th seed in Region 18, so if they could get to the regional semis, they would play Milan Edison. Correct, if things play out like they are supposed to as far as seeding goes with what they're projecting out there. Boy, I wouldn't want to play Eastwood in the regional semis either.
You took the words out of my mouth. Liberty Center, and rightfully so. Okay.
Boy, there could be a couple of dandy regional semis here.
Well, I think everybody was kind of thinking Liberty Center, Edison, Oak Harbor, and then kind of everybody else. Eastwood, that effort last week on the road at Oak Harbor tells me Eastwood can play with anybody. And I didn't think that game would be that close. And so it's just nothing but credit and respect to Eastwood's kids and coaches, Sam Cotterman. They're going to be a tough out. And don't be surprised if Eastwood knocks off one of those quote-unquote, big dogs in that region.
LaGrange Keystone is in there as well, and then Creston Norwayne. I don't know that they've played the schedule that some of these other teams here in Region 18 have. Norwayne did play St. Clairsville. 28-21 loss to open the season. The Red Devils are 9-0 at this point of the year.
Let me ask you this. Winner of Region 18, are they in the state championship game?
Depends on who.
Yes, no.
I'm going to answer that next week. I'm not ready to answer that.
Okay.
It's a great question, though.
I would say no. I would say no.
Interesting.
But it depends on where they go. They're probably going to go to South Range.
That's the way it's looking right now.
Probably Ironton and yeah, I would say South Range would win Region 17. Ironton and Harvest Prep are in Region 19, so it's one of those two there. I don't know much about Region 20. Would they send Region 19 and Region 20 together? Probably.
I would think.
Or would they send South Range?
I don't know.
South to Ironton. I don't know. I would have to see the state semifinal matchups first.
Fair enough.
South Range is my favorite right now to win D5.
Okay.
Really? You know who, a few weeks ago, I wasn't sold on?
Ironton a close second.
Okay. I was going to say, a few weeks ago, I wasn't totally sold on Ironton, but they're
different this year.
Yeah.
But there's a piece of me in the back of my mind. Ironton does this every year.
I know.
They're all into that glitz and glamour stuff.
Yeah, a lot of social media.
But when it comes time, they sometimes fold.
They do, but Lynn, you said a mouthful a minute ago. I think there's something different about them this year.
They played a different schedule this year, I will tell you that.
Yes.
And that matters.
Yeah, they have one loss.
Yeah, they lost to a school from Ontario, Football North.
Yeah.
Whatever the heck that means.
They've beat the snot out of, the Jackson Ironmen, who are always nasty. That was one of their wins.
Yeah.
Well, this Football North I'm popped on here looking. They're playing the likes of St. Ed's, Massillon, Washington, St. Ignatius, team in Virginia, a couple teams in Virginia, a team in Pennsylvania. So they're making the rounds.
Well, and that tells you, too, Ironton knew what they were getting into there.
Yeah.
Yep.
And stuck their nose in there.
Yeah, Football North is playing St. Ignatius this week.
Out of Mississauga, Ontario, just suburb of Toronto. So my guess is
look at that knowledge.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. My guess is they have plenty to choose from in the personnel department.
Yeah.
Massillon, Washington did sand Football North 45-6. Fell to St. Ed's 22-12. Yeah, I think that Ironton team's is a little bit different this season. But I know that South Range, they have some ties over to that area with my wife's family, and I've heard are
not as good as 2 years ago when Liberty played them.
I asked him that question when he was here about 6 weeks ago, and he says they're close.
Oh, that team, they were a bunch of bullies. We were on the sideline for that game, and they were
bad dudes.
They were bad dudes.
They had that little 5'5" slot receiver who looked like Wes Walker.
You couldn't tackle him.
No,
impossible. I want to see what Cal Prep says about a Liberty Center South Range. I know we're getting way ahead of ourselves, which is fun to do.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, I opened that can of worms. Sorry.
Which is fun to do. No, I like it, Neil. I like it. Here we go. South Range, Canfield. Used to be called North Lima South Range. Now it's Canfield.
Liberty Center
South
played
Range.
them. Or not Liberty Center, Patrick Henry.
Yes, they did.
On the way to the state championship.
Okay, it has Canfield South Range 31, Liberty Center 28. In the playoffs, not sure why this matters, but Canfield South Range 34, Liberty Center 28, which is impressive because Liberty Center's body of work, nobody's as impressive as they are. And for
do an Ironton South Range.
Ironton South Range, I like it.
We need like a Cal Preps
Ironton
guy just sitting here with us,
Yeah,
right?
literally, somebody just to go through that.
Each matchup.
I love it. I love doing this because they're so close. Oh, Ironton 41, South Range 28.
Ooh, well, they like Ironton, huh?
They like Ironton. And again, the metrics, you look at how that football north, how close they played like St. Ed's.
Yeah.
That gives Ironton a big boost in terms of how they operate here. So, Division 5. And then you've talked about Harvest Prep.
Harvest Prep
earlier.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would play Ironton in the regional finals.
Have some bumps and bruises after that one.
Yeah. Did we give them all of our Eastwood picks here? Was that the game we were on?
We didn't pick yet, I don't think.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I think we got derailed there somehow.
I've got Eastwood. Genoa's too inconsistent for me.
Yeah, Eastwood for me, too.
My boy, Coach Fisher's we got to get more consistent over there in Genoa, buddy.
Yeah, I'll take Coach Cotterman and his crew in that matchup. Yeah, that's how we got off track, because I was talking about Eastwood being the 5 seed, and we really went down a rabbit hole in Region 18 there.
Unscripted.
I was talking to a buddy of mine today that grew up 2 or 3 doors down from Sam and Steve Cotterman growing up, and this is the same guy that gave me a hard time last week. He said, we're not giving Eastwood enough credit. We took Oak Harbor. And I said, I heard that the Cotterman boys were pretty bad dudes back in school. And he said, dude, they were bad dudes.
Yes.
They were bad dudes, legit.
I have some connections that know the Cotterman boys. Yeah, you didn't mess with Steve-O and Sam back in the day.
That's what I was told. That's good stuff.
I think Sam's kind of mellowed out as he's gotten older, but Steve-O,
yeah,
I don't think I want to go toe-to-toe with him.
I don't think so. I don't know if all 3 of us would want to.
Nah, I don't think we do.
No, I don't think so either.
Blanchard Valley Conference this week. Van Buren is at Liberty Benton, also another team there in Region 18. LB allowing just 9.9 points per game and 169.2 yards per game.
Van Buren's improved. I mean, they've played some solid football throughout the season, but Liberty Benton, nice little suburban rivalry there. The Battle of Findlay outskirts. Scott Garlock will have the Eagles ready to roll. I think they're going to smack Van Buren around here.
Yep, I too like the Liberty Benton squad to go in and get this done. They've just been rolling too much, and I think they continue.
Yeah, I like LB in that matchup as well. Lipsick is at Ada.
I'll start this off. One of the closer matchups on our whole slate this week. I am going with the Ada Bulldogs. Over the last few weeks, I wasn't quite sure because, we don't keep a close eye on Ada. First year in the Blanchard Valley Conference. And I'm going to give Ada the nod at home at War Memorial Stadium, I believe is the name of the place they play. And I think it'll be close. Lipsick's pretty solid. I think it'll be close, but I'm going with Ada at home.
I think that loss to PG last week got Ada's attention. I agree. I like Ada in this one, and that's going to be my pick as well, Tory.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Ada Bulldogs in that matchup as well. Riverdale at Pandora Gilboa. Rockets not looking like they will get a home playoff game in Region 26, Division 7, but will be in the playoffs, and probably a team that you don't want to see kind of early on or later on in the playoffs, depending on how far they make it.
Nope.
No, I agree with you on that, Lynn. And what they've been doing lately here has been impressive, with the exception of that Liberty Benton blemish. They've gone on a tear here from week 3 on. I think a dangerous team in the playoffs for sure, and one that'll give Region 26 some fits, but I like them this week, especially against Riverdale.
Yeah, they would need some help to get a home game, even with a win. They could, but they would need a little bit of help, and Pandora Gilboa rolls in this football game.
I'm going to take PG in that one. Also in the BBC, Macomb at Windlass Elmwood on Friday night.
Another one of those games that, if you're the Macomb Panthers, you get in, you take care of business on a business trip, keep your kids healthy, get your eyes on week 11 and beyond, but this one's going to be all Macomb.
Yeah, how would you like, there's a lot of schools that would like a down year to be 7-3, right?
You're not Chris Algie.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of communities that would love to be 7-3, and Macomb's going to be 7-3. They're going to be in the postseason again, and a couple chinks in their armor this year, but they're going to have enough in the tank to beat Elmwood on the road. Elmwood's going to finish 0-10.
Yep, I like Macomb in that one as well. How would you like to be Eden if these projections stay the way that they expect them to? Macomb would be at Eden, first round of the playoffs.
You don't want that.
Do you want to sign up for that if you're Eden?
Nope.
No.
And Bob Owen doesn't either.
Yeah, no.
It's the last team other than Grove. Macomb, Pandora's pretty good too.
What about Lipsick?
I don't know that Eden would mind that as much.
Yeah.
You also, if you're Eden, you don't want Lima Central Catholic.
What about Edgerton?
I don't think that would bother.
That was a close one to start the season.
It was close, but they weren't playing bomber ball then.
Oh, they weren't playing bomber ball.
They weren't. Nope. Nope.
So Macomb is, if you look at the double-digit seeds here, the bottom half of that bracket, Macomb would be the team you don't want to face?
Yeah, for me. Absolutely.
Yeah, Lima Central Catholic or Macomb would be my two.
How about Delphus St. John's?
Yeah.
What if you're the 2 seed and they're the 15?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you right now, if Upper Scioto Valley, if this held and USV was the 2 and St. John's stayed 15, I know who I'm betting on that game.
Delphus St. John's lost 14-13 to Lima Central Catholic. Now, they've gotten shellacked a few times this season, but they've seen better competition, I'll tell you that, if they rolled into your stadium week 1.
Yeah, they have.
But
they have.
Yeah, we'll break down.
That's going to be a region that there's going to be some upsets had there.
Guaranteed.
And there might be some semifinal games that you wouldn't think would be the matchup that you would pick this right now if you had to.
But there's some chinks in the armor of those 2 through maybe 6 seeds.
No doubt about it. Yeah, there's going to be some teams here that get exposed. There's no doubt about it.
Okay. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how the matchups go, and we'll talk about that on next Monday's podcast as we look forward to week 1 of the playoffs. Let's take a break here from the Gherkin Companies again.
Hard-working individuals have been the heart of the Gherkin Companies for generations. Together, we construct the highways and infrastructure that strengthen our communities. Gherkin is seeking rock-solid performers. We offer generous benefits, continuous training, top-notch equipment, and a culture that rewards effort. Want to be part of something big, steady, and stable with room to grow? Whether you're experienced or just starting your career, we encourage you to apply at gherkincompanies.com/careers.
Welcome back to the Black Swamp Football Podcast presented by the Gherkin Companies. All right, NWC. The main event is set. Been waiting for this one all season. Columbus Grove Bluffton. This game is not going to matter as far as the playoffs go, but it is going to matter for these two communities. To be honest, there's not a lot of love in these two communities for each other.
No.
This is about as much hatred as you get in a matchup around Northwest Ohio. The Bulldogs Pirates played an epic Week 10 clash at Grove last year, won 14-7 by Columbus Grove. But again, 4 weeks later in the Division 6 Region 22 Championship at Findlay, which Grove won 17-10. Grove jumped out to a big lead. Looked like they were going to roll in that one. Bluffton rallied and made that one interesting down the stretch. Bluffton has scored the most points in the NWC this season, 424, while allowing the fewest amount of points, 59. Grove is second in both categories, having scored 379 points and allowed 107. Both teams will be the top seeds in their respective regions when the playoffs start next week. The Bulldogs dropped a division this year, moving back to Division 7, Region 26, while the Pirates are still part of Region 22's. Region 22, Friday's clash will feature 4 of the conference's top 5 rushers, highlighted by Grove's Trenton Barraza. He has 1,481 yards and 20 scores on 171 totes. Bluffton has the 3rd, 4th, and 5th best runners in the conference. Parker Lavelle, 68 carries, 655 yards, 10 touchdowns. Landon, was it Worcester?
Worcester.
Yes, we saw him a year ago, 77 carries, 632 yards, 9 TDs, and then Tate Giesecke has 66 rushes for 618 yards and a team high 13 touchdowns. Bluffton holds a 2,546 to 2,050 edge overall in rushing as a team, and a 3,816 to 3,140 advantage in total yards this season. So they've ran for a few more than Grove has, and they also have a few more yards overall. Bluffton has attempted 112 passes. Grove has thrown the ball 103 times. Pirates have only 4 turnovers all year. Grove has committed 12. The programs are also ranked first and second in the NWC in defense. Bluffton leads the way with 1,407 yards allowed, while Grove has yielded 1,985. Pirates extremely tough against the run, allowing just 495 all season. Grove has given up a little over 1,000. Grove has an NWC best 18 turnovers forced, and Bluffton is just 2 behind that with 16 forced. And this will be our Gamecast presented by 3Chord this week. So Tory and I not picking this one.
You know, what's impressive, Bluffton's leading rusher, Parker Lovell, with Landon Worcester coming back. If you'd have told me he wasn't going to be the leading rusher, what a year Parker Lovell has turned in. His father, Trent Lovell, a classmate and teammate of mine for 4 years at Bluffton College. His dad, Trent, played at Macomb High School, and I was texting with Trent this week, and he's pretty excited to watch his son play in that rivalry. And so good luck to those guys.
Yeah.
Well, this is a game that I have the fortune to pick, I'm going to say, because this is going to be...
Giving you a chance to pick up half a game here, Schuller.
Absolutely do. Yeah. And I will pick up half a game here as well. This is a game, you mentioned it, 2 schools that don't care for one another, 2 communities that don't care for one another. Storied histories, 9-0 coming into the finale. Both teams scoring in spades, both teams' defenses playing well throughout the season. Probably as close of a matchup as any that we have on the slate this week, in my opinion. And a game for all the marbles in the conference as well. I am going to take the Columbus Grove Bulldogs in this one. I think that the Grove is getting it done. I like what they put together this year, and I think they're going to go on the road and finish out the charge. So give me Grove. Coach Schaefer, put that in a soundbite and get it done.
I am super excited to call this one. I'll be honest with you. The Week 10 game we did last year was an absolute dandy. I was at, I think, the PH Marion local game last year. No, that was a week before when you were at the Grove Bluffton game playoffs.
Yep.
I remember where I was. But anyway, I'm jacked for this. If Bluffton doesn't get it done this year, I don't know if they'll ever beat Columbus Grove again as long as we're on this earth. I mean, it's crazy how Grove has had their number, and I can't wait to see how it plays out. I'm glad we don't have to pick it.
I am too.
That's going to be a heck of a football game.
We're watching this from the comfort of your classroom, right?
Yeah. So we have senior night at Napoleon. My daughter's a senior, and it was important for me to be there. So Lynn and I put our heads together, which is scary. And how can we make this happen? And so we decided we're going to have it on the big screen and go out and do senior night stuff. Lynn's going to handle the majority of pregame, and then we're going to do it on the big screen with a live stream of the game. I think it'll go well. I do. I think it'll go well.
Thanks to Bluffton AD Alex Hanna. He gave us the opportunity to use their huddle film from the game, and we'll sit there in the comforts of your room. And
I have a pot of coffee going.
That's going to be interesting.
Oh, you know what, though? I got to do it, I think, kind of like they do in the press box. Maybe I need to have some pizza and some wings ordered.
Some subs.
Yeah.
I like some Subway.
Maybe a window cracked.
Yeah, Subway. We can do better.
I like Subway.
Yeah,
I haven't had Subway all year.
We can do better. You don't want, that's messy. We want stuff that's concise.
Well, while you're out there doing the senior night stuff, I need some sustenance.
Okay, I might be able to make that. Well, not might. I can make that happen. I like
See what kind of a host you are.
I might shock you. I may have Yeah. Oh,
Coffee.
I mean,
You know the last time his coffee pot's been cleaned?
Yeah, we covered this earlier in the season. So,
Do you know the last time this thing has been?
I don't think it ever has.
This is the one he brought probably with him from Leipzig.
yeah, back in 08, yeah.
LCC.
Seasoned.
Yeah,
right.
well seasoned, Mr. Coffee. It's got about 2 buttons on it.
Yep.
And
That's all you need.
So you want a cup, if I sub at Napoleon, I want a cup of coffee at 8. Well, you get it about noon because it takes 4 hours for it to brew.
You know the best part? I'll leave school, the last day of school, and I won't touch it. Sometimes even the coffee filter from the coffee I brewed the last day of school will be in there. I'll come rolling back in mid-July. Oh, better dump that. Looks like a science experiment, but that's why my coffee's the best in the school. Guidance department administrators, when they want the best cup of coffee, they come up to room 2B30. And it's
Interesting.
Yeah. 100% Colombian. It's the only kind that goes through that coffee maker, buddy. Don't you come in with some breakfast blend, I'll knock it out of your hands.
He's not going to know what's going to happen between the hours of 6:30 and about 6:50 Friday night.
He could disinfect it and clean it. I'm held hostage out at the stadium.
Exactly.
Oh, man.
What would happen?
I think
if you came in and that
Put it
was
this way.
spotless.
Put it this way. There's a good chance the coffee maker will not be in my classroom on Friday.
Yeah, I think or hidden, well hidden, maybe lock and key.
I don't even think I'll take a chance on that.
Yeah, might just have to move it.
Yeah. It's good. It's like my grill.
Yeah, maybe you just kind of tote that under your other arm that you're not escorting your daughter with on senior night. I'm sure
they'd appreciate it.
Cinda would love it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, with the pictures.
Yeah.
How much would somebody pay Coach Strock to tote that thing under his arm for senior night?
During the festivities of senior night.
How much would they pay?
Man,
How much can we pull together? How much would it take?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a number.
I'll kick this out as a starter. You can stay at my place because you're not going to be staying at your
I just
house
want to
that
see
night.
Cinda's reaction.
That's my point.
I don't think any of the students watching, would even be surprised. They wouldn't even bat a lash.
Yeah.
No, Coach Strock's got his coffee pot. They come in every morning. They know. They know it's going to be brewing.
All right, Neil's territory, NLL Buckeye action this week. Can we release our game of the week?
Absolutely. It's been put out
Is
there.
it this one?
It is this
They
one.
couldn't say it better be this one.
Perrysburg at Anthony Wayne is our game 1 game of the week. It should be an absolute dandy. You got Anthony Wayne setting with an unblemished record, Perrysburg with a 1 loss to Whitmer. And, this has become a bad blood type affair. Schuller Stadium will be rocking without doubt or question. So definitely looking forward. I put my request in early with the AW athletic department, letting them know I'd be there, and hats off to them. They responded right away and said absolutely. So looking forward to being out at Schuller this Friday night.
So Schuller doesn't have to pick this one?
No.
He's getting off easy, man.
What? Yeah, you said to pick Columbus Grove Bluffton.
I'd rather pick that one than
Oh, good grief.
this one. I mean, this one, boy.
Well, I mean, listen, Strock's got a lot on the line here because
know.
he's already been called out once for a pick with the Generals
I've
involved.
got friendships at stake and all kinds of things.
Well, yeah, I mean, potential travel plans anytime you have to head east.
Yeah.
You got to go through both
Yeah.
if you're eastbound there.
That's true.
AW 38-28 victory at, 35-10 victory a year ago at Steinecker Stadium. Peaburg 38-28 2 years ago at Schuller Stadium when there was another packed house. Boy, forget what the attendance was, but it was
big.
6,000 plus, I think.
Yeah, this is going to be a game that if you're not in there hour and a half in advance, you're planning on standing.
Yeah, I'll kick this off.
Perrysburg can get a piece of the NLL Buckeye Division crown with a victory, and then that would bring Whitmer in the fold as well.
Yeah. Whitmer definitely Perrysburg fans this week.
Yeah, they are. You want me to tell you who's going to win?
I'm going to tell you who's going to win. Anthony Wayne.
Yeah, well, we're in agreement because I've made that mistake once. Fool me once,
Yeah, I think you're just scared of Andy Brungard.
I fear no man.
Are you scared of Dirk Connor?
No.
Oh, you're not scared of Dirk?
They're both dangerous.
Who would you be more scared of?
Dirk and Andy?
If you ran into one of them, both of them in a back alley, and you had to start brawling with one of them, who would you not take down first? Who would be the easier one?
Let's just get this out there. I would whoop both of them, okay? I fear neither. But who would I fear more?
Yeah.
Who would provide more resistance?
Yes. Dirk may have like some kind of like ninja.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. And
like silent assassin.
Yeah.
Calculate the angle of his karate chop hitting my Adam's apple.
Carotid artery. And
Brungard. I would Brungard. He's a quiet killer, man. He's a quiet killer. Although Dirk would be a handful. I fear neither of them, but yeah, Brungard. I'd give him the edge. You never know what Brungard's thinking. He'll just stare at you. You'll be telling him a story and he'll stare at you and you're like, what's he thinking? Is he going to respond? Does he think, what's going through his mind? You don't know. That's what got Whitmer in trouble that night. Kenny Winters was on that other sideline going, what's Brungard thinking over there? This guy's crazy. And I think he might be. Give me the Generals, baby. Isn't going to happen again. Andy, I'm telling you, so help me. You let me down in this one, pal. Sorry, Dirk. Give me the Generals, man. They've got it clicking. They've got it clicking. They've been a single purpose all season long. And to go 9-0 in the big boy division, kudos to them.
You have to put that game up on you have another screen up there in your classroom?
Oh, I can have.
Huh.
yeah, that'd be a good one to have over on the side to keep a weather eye on.
Be like a weather center during, like you do for the NCAA tournament, Lynn.
Yeah.
Have multiple screens.
Maybe we just need a broadcast from your room. Can we do that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I say we do that.
We could be like the red zone.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of that's the control center. You know what I mean? It's got that's going to be one to
Scott Hansen there on the red zone. Where
that's going to be one to keep an eye on. I don't. Might that one be back and forth, or will one team control it like AW did against Whitmer?
Well, you can't ask Schuller questions because he's not picking. You tried to do this.
I'm not going to answer that question though. I mean, I think that this is a back and forth
could be back and forth.
No, I think it is a back and forth game. It's you got a lot of emotion in this game. You've got two teams that clearly are at the top of the conference for this season, and bad blood that's abound, and teams that have split this, going back a couple of years here, have split this contest. So I think you're going to have a lot of back and forth action in this game.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be a runaway one way or another.
Yeah, I can't wait.
I don't think we'll have a lot of objections here with the next two picks. Springfield is at Whitmer. Again, the Panthers, big Perrysburg fans, and they knock off the Blue Devils. They would get a piece of that NLL Buckeye Division crown.
Yep, this will be a game that's going to be a long night for Springfield on the road as they continue their rebuilding project. Hats off to Coach Charles Smith. He's getting things pointed the right direction, but going to need at least another year to get that ship righted. As you mentioned, Lynn, Whitmer, perhaps the biggest Perrysburg fans of the evening outside of the swarm there at Perrysburg themselves. Whitmer gets it done and turns their attention to what's going on in White House.
So Cal Preps has, I know we just passed over this, but Cal Preps has Anthony Wayne 26, Perrysburg 21.
Tight.
Okay. So, just for the record. Yeah, I agree, Neil. Give me the Whitmer Panthers at home, and maybe midway through that second quarter, they'll be going, hey, what's the score of that AW Perrysburg game? They'll roll in this one. Although, I agree. Springfield, could they sneak in the playoffs? No, they would have to win, wouldn't they?
They'd have to win and get some help.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Let me look here. They are currently sitting at the 21 spot.
Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, they need a win and help. They're not mathematically eliminated,
okay.
But they need a lot of help to get up there.
All right, yep, Whitmer.
Another game in the Buckeye Division this week that'll be a heavy favorite. That will be the Findlay Trojans. They are at Sylvania Northview in this matchup.
Yep, business trip for the Findlay Trojans here at Northview. They're going to definitely go on the road and get it done. Findlay currently setting in the 10 slot in Division I, Region I. For reference, we have Perrysburg sitting at 2, Whitmer sitting at 4 there. St. Ed's, a program we talk about quite a bit, sitting at 5. So you got Findlay sitting at 10. Will not get help with that this week. They've clinched a spot, but they're not going to get any help with a win over
They're projected
Northview.
13th.
Yeah.
So
yep.
they're projected if everything goes as planned.
Right. So you could, see a early matchup, possibly a Perrysburg-Findlay type thing early in playoffs here. But yeah, Findlay goes on the road and gets it done over the struggling Northview Wildcats.
If you're in Division I, the way it works, the regions are much smaller. Almost everybody gets in. So in Findlay's region there, you'll have teams that are currently 1-8, 2-7, 2-7, 1-8, 3-6, 2-7, 3-6. That'll all be in the postseason. It is what it is. But how would you like to be Perrysburg and possibly have St. Ignatius as your first round matchup?
No way, but that's exactly what you're talking about.
A team that Central Catholic beat by 1 point, right?
Correct. And as storied of a program as any in the state of Ohio.
So all you do is have a phenomenal season, which Perrysburg has, and you could run into Iggy round 1. Could.
Yep.
Crazy.
Boy. Yeah.
Crazy. Give me Findlay. I agree, Neil. Business trip as they prepare for the postseason. Curious to see what Northview does going forward. How are they going to build that? So
going to be some soul searching for the Wildcats here in the off season. Going to need to figure out a little bit different of a sauce up there, and I think that they will, one way or another. But yeah, there's going to need to be some questions answered.
Okay. I want to take Findlay in that one as well. Let's take another break. Come back and talk about the other division in the NLL this week. K. Kern Painting is a proud sponsor of Northwest Ohio Athletics. K. Kern Painting was formed in 1998 by Kinsey Kern in Toledo and now has a footprint in Toledo, Cleveland, and Michigan, and has road crews traveling throughout the United States. For a free estimate or job opportunities with K. Kern Painting, visit their website at kkernpainting.com or call 419-351-1250 or stop by their Toledo location at 211 North Reynolds Road. Welcome back to the Black Swamp Football Podcast presented by the Gherkin Companies. All right, NLL Cardinal Division action this week. Fremont Ross is at Bowling Green.
Outside of Perrysburg at Anthony Wayne, that obviously has title implications and just size, scale, pageantry, everything that goes with it. This Fremont Ross at Bowling Green matchup, probably the most intriguing of the rest of the slate in the NLL. And the reason I say that is this. If you're Fremont Ross, you are currently sitting at number 16, the cutoff spot in Division II, Region 6. You lose this game, you're out, very likely. If you win this game, you stay in, but barely. Bowling Green has clinched a playoff spot in Division III, Region 10. It's currently sitting at number 9. A loss to Ross would affect them, but they're still in. Fremont Ross back against the wall, must-win game. It's at Bowling Green, but they get it done to stay in the playoff conversation. Give me Ross.
You're going with Ross.
Give me Fremont Ross.
Wow. Okay. Their backs are against the wall, Neil. I agree with you. But Bowling Green, man, they figured some things out throughout this season. I think they've improved, and you want to be playing your best football this time of year. I look for Bowling Green to hold serve at home, crank up that rushing attack, and find a way to win. I like Bowling Green.
I like the Bobcats as well in that matchup. Southview at Napoleon. Napoleon projected to be the 13 seed in Region 14. Southview going to need a win and tons of help to get into the Region 6 playoffs. But can the Cougars go on the road to Buckenmeyer Stadium and pick one up here?
This is, well, first of all, Southview is mathematically eliminated from the playoffs. They're done. This is their finale here, Week 10. This is an interesting matchup for me. Southview obviously took it on the chin last week against Clay, and that's, hats off to Clay. They earned it, deserved it. Outright title for Coach Gallius and company there. I know we have them coming up. And then Napoleon losing to Bowling Green. What does that mean? Coming off of a loss to Clay, now losing to Bowling Green. Now you have Southview coming to town. Napoleon still with some aspirations for the playoffs. Southview has nothing to lose but pride on this one. That said, I think Napoleon gets it done. I think that they rebound. I think that offense is going to be a little bit too much in this one. I like Napoleon at home.
Well, who'd have thunk this after that Defiance game, okay, that entering Week 10, Napoleon was going to be staring at a 4-6 season and 0-4 in their division after that game. And that's exactly what they're staring at. You know what? You look at Bowling Green, Southview, a couple weeks ago, Bowling Green beat them 21-14, beat Napoleon 24-14. Okay, so I think that tells us, for what it's worth, it's close, right? Here's the question. Southview's playing to go to 4-6. Napoleon's trying to avoid falling to 4-6. Who's this game? Not to oversimplify it. Who wants it more? And I'll be honest with you. Does Southview want to go out winners, those seniors, knowing they're mathematically eliminated, worse than Napoleon wants to get in the playoffs? Is what it's going to come down to. Because if you look at the Bowling Green Napoleon, you look at some of the film from that game last week. There's some concerns with the effort level. And if Napoleon doesn't step up in that department, I guarantee you Steve Hardy's going to bring Southview over there and Will Mazie and those guys, and they're going to pin their ears back and get after it. And can Napoleon protect Owen Espinoza, who's as good as anybody if he has time? Bowling Green got after him. Mm-hmm. Napoleon didn't block him. So I'm going to pick Napoleon. I'm going to pick Napoleon because they're at home. And I'm going to figure they got woken up last week a little bit, and they're going to play hard for 4 quarters. I'm going to go with them, but Southview, it's going to be tight.
Well, and I don't disagree with you, Tory. If they didn't get woke up last week, they're in trouble this week, too.
You got it.
Give me that helmet. Steve Hardy.
Here we go.
You didn't get one for me earlier in the year. You got to get this one because I'm picking you, and this is what's going to beat Strock, is this game right here. I'm taking the Cougars. I think they want it more.
We're going to see what happens. I have some concerns. I do. But
not putting that thing on this week. The last time I did that, it didn't work.
But if you're a Napoleon Wildcat and you're at home on senior night for a chance to go to the postseason, if you don't strap them up and sell out for 48 minutes, then I have nothing else. So we're going to find out, Grolly.
Taking the Cougars.
We're going to find out.
And roll in Napoleon and get the dub.
Here we go.
All right, let's take a break. We'll come back and talk about the GMC this week.
High school seniors, uncertain that college is right for you? Concerned about the cost of higher education? At the Gherkin Companies, we offer rewarding livelihoods even without a degree. That's a good living straight out of high school with no tuition debt. Starting pay between recent college grads and those with high school diplomas is closer than you might think. So if you enjoy teamwork, working outdoors, and being part of something meaningful, consider your options at gherkincompanies.com/careers.
Thank you to the Gherkin Companies, title sponsor of our podcast this season. Going to have Rex Lindgren on our football show coming up here after our podcast. Go to our YouTube channel to tune in to that. We want to put a mic in front of Coach Lindgren here and get some picks.
Yeah, let's go.
That's up to him.
I can guess.
All right, just remember we're live, Coach. There's no editing. Not that, you.
No, I understand.
I don't have any concerns.
You should.
We're going to test his GMC knowledge. We'll get into the NWL here in a second. But Pauling at Antwerp, county battle here.
We're going to make him go first so he can't cheat.
No, don't do that.
All right, I'm just asking. I'll start it out. I want to first give a shout out to one of our loyal listeners, Mr. Andy White. He works in admissions at Defiance College. He's a super loyal supporter of ours, and I'd call him the pride of Paulding. He's a proud Paulding Panther alum. So, Andy, we appreciate your support. Give me the Paulding Panthers on the road. They're going to be in a bad mood, but mark this down. It ain't going to be easy. Antwerp's going to, Jason Hale's going to have them ready to play.
Yep, no,
He's going to have them ready.
Listen, I don't disagree with you at all, Tory, but Paulding, you said it. It's a bad week for Antwerp to be playing them, coming off of a loss there. They're going to be, in a bad mood, and Antwerp's going to be the unfortunate benefactor of that. Yeah. Give me the Paulding Panthers.
I like Paulding as well. Coach Lindgren?
I think Paulding.
Okay.
They've got it together this year.
Okay. Edgerton at Tenora. Tenora can wrap up the GMC outright with a win here. With a loss and a Fairview victory this week, the Apaches could get back into the discussion. Edgerton leading the GMC with 35.3 points per game. Tenora's allowing just 14.7. Edgerton is balanced as you can be almost this season. 1,674 yards rushing and 1,675 yards passing. Tenora has allowed 796 rushing and just a little over 1,500 yards passing. Joel walk up for the Bulldogs. He is 111 shy of 1,000.
Yeah, I'm not going against Tenora at home, although Edgerton could sting them here. But after what I saw last week, I think Tenora has it rolling. I think they find a way in a close one. Give me the Rams.
Yeah, I like Tenora in this one as well. Hats off to Edgerton, clinching a playoff spot this year. But this is going to be a tough night for them playing Tenora.
Yeah, I'm going to take I'm going to take Tenora in this matchup to wrap up the GMC outright.
Tenora for me, too.
Okay. Ayersville at Wayne Trace. Torrin even. Ayersville running back, a senior for the Pilots. He is 9 yards shy of 1,000 for the season.
Give me Wayne Trace at home, although Ayersville won't make it easy. They've kind of found their niche with their ground game. But I like Wayne Trace to find a way in a close one.
Yep, I think we talked about it earlier with Wayne Trace. It's just, struggling, trying to get over that hump. They finish on a high note here with a win over Ayersville this week and work towards continuing to try to close that gap in the GMC.
I'll take the Raiders as well. Coach Lindgren?
That sounds good to me.
All right. All right. Well, we were hoping to get some hard-hitting analysis from you.
Oh, you will once we get in our league.
Okay. All right. Finishing up the Green Meadows Conference this week, Fairview is at Hicksville. Any issues here for the Apaches?
No, I don't see any at all. Going to be a tough night for Hicksville, but Fairview continues what they set out for and get it done.
If Hicksville can get a couple takeaways early, they might be in it for a couple of quarters, but Fairview's got too much firepower. I like the Apaches.
I like Fairview as well in this matchup.
I'll go with that also.
Okay. NWAL, Coach Lundgren's territory.
Here we go.
Do we need to give a little shout out here to Mr. Jackson?
Yeah, we do.
Now, we might want to not give out the date that he's bringing that with somebody that is sitting to the right of you. Because if he knows that's coming here on a Monday night.
Well, it's already out of the bag now.
Well, but we're not going to give him the date.
Oh, there we go.
I'm going to give him the date.
Something tells me he'll find out.
Well, he can. If there's a south wind, he'll smell it in his house.
I know. He's done it before. But, Rob Jackson, owner of Red, White, and Blue Barbecue and Catering. He's actually feeding the Patrick Henry football team tomorrow night. He's got smoked brisket, pork loin, green beans, mac and cheese. He's got quite an outfit going with his smoker there and does all kinds of catering in that. And I did see a video of the brisket he's got smoking. It's pretty impressive. So, and he is going to feed the Black Swamp crew some brisket and whatever we want as trimming. So,
what are my options?
Well, boy, brisket, pork loin. He does this smoked bologna that looks pretty awesome if you're into that.
What about sides?
Smoked mac and cheese, baked beans.
I'll do some baked beans.
Okay.
Rob?
Yeah, that sounds good. So Robbie will take care of us. Actually, we've been talking about what we want to do for Morgan's graduation party, and so I may entertain Red, White, and Blue Barbecue and Catering. But he's getting that rolling. The Patriots are going to eat well tomorrow night.
There you go.
Hopefully, they're not too full and they go on the road and get tripped up at Swanton tomorrow night.
I do have a shout out that I forgot earlier on to the Otsego freshmen. Coach Rutherford was here, Jerry Rutherford, earlier this season, coaching. Undefeated season they finished up for the Otsego freshmen. So congratulations to the Knights.
He said that is maybe the best freshman team he's ever seen. That's Jerry Rutherford saying that.
Yep.
They must be good.
Did they come over here and play Liberty Center?
We went over there.
Over there.
And it was, they kind of handled us overall. I mean, the score was close, but they've got a real fine freshman group there.
Okay.
Definitely some good athletes in that group.
Okay.
Wow.
All right, sorry about that.
Yeah, no problem.
It's good.
No. Yeah, he was singing their praises that night.
He absolutely was. So
Jerry usually doesn't do that, but boy.
One of my work associates has a son on that team, and I told her that she made sure to say, hey, when you go on the podcast, just want to make sure that you know this. So
Outstanding. Yeah, I like PH at Swanton. I don't, even if they get full of brisket.
They might be able to eat brisket on the sideline during that game.
They aren't going to get full enough for this to be a problem.
True.
This is going to be all Patriots.
Like the Patriots too, Coach?
Yeah. I like.
He's
that.
thinking about the brisket.
Yeah, I don't like PH, but I think they'll win the game.
Okay, all right. Brian is at Archbold on Friday night.
I think the struggles have been documented for Brian, and they continue into Week 10. Give me Archbold.
Is there a scenario where Brian could trip them up? This isn't the Archbold of old. I'm going with Archbold.
You may have to ask the guy right there.
Brian is struggling this year.
Are they?
Yeah, it's one of the worst teams I've seen for quite a while.
So you like Archbold?
I think Archbold's going to win. Archbold's not a very good football team either, but of the two, Archbold's better than Brian.
I'm going with Coach Linger. I'm going with Archbold.
Yeah, I'll take Archbold in that matchup as well. Liberty Center at Wauseon. Not going to be much hesitation for me in this one. I like the Tigers big to keep it rolling and roll into the Region 18 playoffs.
Yep, Tigers roll in this one, zero question.
Yeah, Wauseon's, they're going to need to move the chains and try to play keep away with the football, and I think even that's going to be hard to do. I like the Tigers as they tune up for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, another 10-0 season, hats off to Casey Moeller doing a great job, and kids are getting ready for playoffs when it really counts.
Take our final break, come back and talk about our non-conference games this, Delta and Evergreen, NWAL this week.
Yeah, I think this is an interesting matchup. As far as the NWAL goes, I think this is probably one of the closest matchups of the week. Both teams, I think this is one that can go either way. I like Delta on the road. I think that they're going to get it done at Evergreen, but I think it's going to be close. But give me Delta.
Go ahead. I'm just curious what Cal Preps has, because I too think it's a close matchup.
I'm going to go with Delta in this matchup.
I think Evergreen.
You take an Evergreen?
Yeah, Delta's a young team, and they beat the Weak Sisters, but Evergreen's a little bit better football club overall, and Delta's just, I think, too young yet.
Okay. Maybe I need to change my pick here.
I'll tell you what, Coach Linger knows some things, but I too am going with the Delta Panthers.
Okay.
No disrespect, Coach, but I have trouble picking against Delta in this one.
Okay, all right. Now we're going to take that break, come back and talk about the non-conference games this week. American Freedom Energy in Grandma's General Store off Route 24 on State Route 109, just south of Liberty Center, now has 88 unleaded fuel and is your one-stop shop for fuel, food, drinks, and much, much more, including locally raised meats and home-baked goods. American Freedom Energy in Grandma's General Store is proud to support Black Swamp Football and is the host of the Black Swamp Football Podcast, Football Show, and Saturday mornings Rise and Rewind. Stop in and see Glenn and Greg today and make American Freedom Energy and Grandma's General Store a part of your everyday routine. Welcome back to the Black Swamp Football Podcast. Joined by a special guest here at the end of the show, former Liberty Center head coach Rex Lindgren. He's trying to get his bratwurst.
Yeah, he is. And I made the mistake of mentioning that a couple weeks ago before we had our whole format nailed down.
Wasn't there a caveat in there that it couldn't be The coffee club?
It might have been mentioned.
I don't think there was, no.
If I had to rewind the tape to just confirm that.
It was a great picture, by the way. You had the coffee crew, and that was a pretty good picture up there.
It was really good. Non-conference this week, North Central is at Reading, Michigan.
Yep, North Central been struggling throughout the year. Give me the Reading, Michigan Rangers in this one.
Breaking out the nickname, Schuller. I like it.
Give me the Rangers, too.
Do a little research.
Yeah, I've got Reading, Michigan in this one.
That sounds good to me. I don't know what either one of these teams are.
Central Catholic at Muskegon, Mona Shores, Michigan. This is no slouch that the Irish are playing this week. Maybe, are they an underdog in this matchup?
I don't know as that goes so far as to say that they're an underdog, but that said, Mona Shores 8-0 coming into the season, and they're coming into this matchup 8-0. Averaging, and I don't have the exact math here, but I would tell you just quick glance tells me that they're averaging about 35 to 38 a game, holding opponents to about 15 a game. So this is not going to be a pushover for Central Catholic, a long road trip. That said, I am going to take the Fighting Irish on the road to get it done, but don't be surprised if this is a score type game.
Okay.
All right, I'm doing a little
Cal Press.
Okay. Central Catholic Cleat. Okay, here we go. Central Catholic 22, Mona Shores 14.
Okay. All right. I'm sold. I'll take the Irish then.
Yeah, that's good enough for me. I had Central highlighted, and it's interesting that it's even projected that close. Normally Central's a 5-touchdown pick, but give me Central Catholic.
Yeah, I'll take Central too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bedford is at St. Francis this week, and the Knights finish the regular season on a strong note heading into the playoffs.
Yeah, this is an interesting matchup. You got the Kicking Mules coming in at 5-3, won their last two against Ann Arbor Huron and Monroe. We've talked about St. Francis and the run that they've had this year. Position, they control their own destiny in the playoffs. Right now, they're sitting at number 11. A win here, I don't know as it affects them too much. I do believe, though, with Bedford coming to town, that St. Francis does get it done and finishes out, in my opinion, one of the turnaround stories of the year at 7-3. Give me the St. Francis Knights.
I'll take St. Francis as well in that matchup.
Yep, St. Francis. Great story there. Great story.
Yeah, I'll take St. Francis. I mean, anytime a team from Michigan comes into Ohio, it's going to get beat.
Good analysis there. St. John's at U of D Jesuit this week. Titans have a chance to get a victory this week, Neil Schuller?
Well, the thing I would tell you is, in terms of, I mentioned this, I believe going back to about week 6, is the road ahead for them at that point in time was looking at week 10 in terms of if they're going to get a win, it's going to come week 10. UD Jesuit, for reference, St. Francis played them, let's see, back on week number 5. They beat them 28-21, did St. Francis. Now, St. Francis beat St. John's 44-30, just for reference. So, close. It's at UD. I know somebody who was at that game said the atmosphere at UD Jesuit is electric. They turn out for the games, ton of support. I think that they get it done against the struggling Titans, who is another team that's going to be searching for answers in the offseason. Give me UD Jesuit.
All right. Hard to argue, Neil. You would know better than I would, but it's been a long road for the Titans. I think they wrap it up with a victory on the road. Give me St. John's.
I like St. John's too. I think they're going to get a close one. What did Cal Prep say?
28-22 St. John's.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll go with St. John's.
Okay. Last game we're picking this week, Toledo Rogers at NOL Cardinal Division champion Clay, as the Clay Eagles try to stay healthy and go into the postseason there in Division II, Region 6.
Yep, Clay Eagles, going back to their last loss was to Perrysburg back in Week 5. They've been on a roll since. They continue that, get themselves ready for playoffs. Give me the Clay Eagles in another storied season.
Yep.
Yeah, great season. No better than John Gallius out there. First class, happy for him. Lynn said it. Got to stay healthy. Got to stay healthy. Get your work done. Get your starters out of there and get ready for Week 11. Give me Clay.
I'll take Clay as well.
Yep, Clay's been playing really good.
Thank you for tuning in to our Week 10 podcast. We'll be back next Monday night for the first round of the playoffs.
Well, can't wait, man.
A lot to unpack next Monday.
Looking forward to Friday. Some of those Week 10 matchups.
Whew. Yeah. Don't
Good
overlook
wait,
this
man.
final Friday of the regular season quite yet, but
It's going to feel like a football Friday night for a change.
Yeah, it is.
Temperature-wise.
Yeah, it is.
it's gonna be
supposed to cool down?
I think it's supposed to cool down here with a cold front coming in, and I don't know how cold, but definitely not 75
No.
Week 9.
No.
yeah,
That's good.
looking forward to it. We'll be back next Monday night on the Black Swamp Football Podcast presented by the Gherkin Companies. Have a good week, everybody.